Hey there. Okay, so what just happened was the second session for the Accessible Yoga School, and I enjoyed the session. I'm like, that's why I'm smiling so hard. But let me speak up. I enjoyed the session. I think some of the things that really stood out to me that I think is going to be useful for how and when I practice is so we talked a little bit about this is your practice. I think it's just really trying to apply that in a very full way. So, for example, if somebody just feels like sitting and watching, or if not disruptive things, but if someone just feels like, doing what their body is leading them to do, how to say, okay, cool, or how to even set the space to where that is cool. So we talked about introductions, which I like. Why do I like introductions? Because I think that setting the groundwork is not the groundwork, but like, oh, let's set the stage. I think that that is so critical to a performance of any sorts. It's like, okay, how do we set the stage? So, in summary, I think today was about understanding how you want to set your stage, and so super cool. I think that's something that I always felt that I liked from other what's the word? The word is there's a noise to my left. So I'm gonna scoot over to my right. So when I would listen to different meditations, there was a poet. So I said, okay, poem. So maybe that'll be incorporated somewhere in my intro or outro, a little bit of rhyming, and or just being grounded. And so it was exciting today. Session 2. I think that I spoke during the Zoom calls. I'm like, okay, teacher, I actually have this question. Oh, I'll check myself on this. So something I said, teacher, because we were talking about some of the poses being comfortable for if you're seated, if you're laying down. I was like, well, teacher, what if you could do both? You're going up and down, up and down. Um, my teacher is really an able-bodied and an advocate for sit yoga. Um, so different seated yoga as my instructor ages, saying just some of the benefits that come from seated yoga and some of the same ways that you can express a standing pose seated. And anyways, I get this question. I said, well, can we, how to direct, like if you're wanting to sit in your chair or lay on the floor, if you want to make it comfortable for both people, it's like how to, yeah, my question was just kind of, and then while I'm asking this question, I'm getting, well, I can still do this, I can still do that. So it's giving ableism for sure. And I'm like, well, what should I do if I can still, and I'm like, from a teacher perspective, the class would not be about my physical capability. I can do what I want at home as much as it would be about setting the room, setting this home, make sure it's comfortable. And so I said, okay, that showed me myself in terms. I'm like, well, I can still do this. I can see, and I find myself thinking that and feeling that way about a lot of things physically. Again, it just shows me more about what I need to work on. So that's that. So that really stood out to me, as well as this one thing. It's coming. It's coming. Sorry, I did not look up what I was going to say was the one thing from last time. But it's okay, y'all, because I will bring that next video. But the other thing I wanted to mention was, so we talked about setting the stage. We talked about ability and checking me for thinking that it matters so much being in or out of my chair.